様、今回は62回目月例11日のマンスリーラリー。We are here again for every 11th of month, front of the San Francisco Japan Consulate. We are here standing to speak out and our voice out to against for the Japanese nuclear policy, Japan's militarism. That's why we are here again. After those triple meltdown, Fukushima Daiichi, Japan didn't learn many things or don't want to learn from Fukushima accident. It's already 5 reactors are resuming and then restarting. Sendai nuclear power plant in Kyushu, Kagoshima, number 1 and 2 reactors, and Ikata, which is Ehime, number 3, and then Takahama, number 3 and 4 in Fukui Prefecture. So same company, for example, Kyushu Electric Power Company, which operates Sendai 1 and 2, they try to resume the Genkai 3 and 4. And those are already approved by the nuclear regulatory, nuclear regulation authority, so that they are planning to open next January. And then the OE number 3 and 4, which Kansai Electric Power Company operate already Takahama 3 and 4. They want to open OE 3 and 4 reactor. They are planning to open next year, January and March. And then Takahama 1 and 2 reactors, and then Mihama 3, number 3, those 3 reactors are already approved. So even we have so much doubt of the safety of the residents around it. They are just pushing forward to resuming. And then even TEPCO, which has the responsibility of this triple Fukushima meltdown, they are asking to resume the 2 more reactors in Niigata, Kashiwazaki, Kariwa plant. And then sure that many people think that TEPCO is not capable for the decommissioning of the Fukushima Daiichi. That company, how they can resume the other 2 reactors? Must decommission the Fukushima Daiichi. This might take for decades and then a century. TEPCO is not regretting. TEPCO want to make profit. TEPCO want to open 2 more reactors. That's not allowed to be. But the good thing is the governor of the Niigata oppose for restarting. And the government's policy that they, as you know, cut the voluntary evacuee. They already cut the compensation, but also they are cutting those people from the official list, so that the people who are afraid for the being contaminated in the Fukushima area, even not in mandatory evacuated area, they run and evacuated by themselves, those people, government don't take care of them anymore. Even they are in despair, or even they are struggling, government is not taking care of it. But if this meltdown never happened, then those people didn't need to relocate themselves. This is totally government and TEPCO's responsibility. I don't understand why government cut those people. This is very selfish, and this want to spend more time, money for the Olympic, or money for the more military weapons. The Japan policy is so much conflict with our hope. And again, the Japanese, let's see, go back to Fukushima. Yes, it is still struggling. Even the 770,000 tons of contaminated water, once TEPCO announced that they're going to release the Pacific Ocean, then the fishermen around there totally stood up and voiced out that it's not allowed. So that now TEPCO are reconsidering. But so much already contaminated water in the thousands of tanks in locked in Fukushima, Daiichi nuclear power plant. Where this water goes, where really we can do. I am totally opposed to release to the Pacific Ocean at all. Just have to build more tanks, even at the front of the Prime Minister's house, all over. We have to just keep, because this is a responsibility for the world. We cannot contaminate with radiation in the Pacific Ocean. We do have so much problem to just contain the Fukushima Daiichi, because the melted core is too high radioactive material. People cannot even close to get there to find out how the condition and where they are. They just had maybe captured a photograph of the one of a reactor, but another two totally mystery. And we don't know. This is the first historical task to retrieve those melted core. Japan doesn't know how to do. And then TEPCO is asking to operate another 2 reactors in Niigata. It's totally not acceptable. And then the few area of so-called government said decontaminated and it's safe, and they inviting the people go back to live there. But only as a research, 10% of the residents, used to be residents, came back to the area. And then nearly 50% of those people who were back there are 65 or older, senior people. Young people never want to go back because they know the truth that it is not safe, because the Japanese government raised the safety bar 20 times or more. Then they are saying that it's okay, it is safe. So the contamination is just moving the radioactive material here to there, and we don't know where to really put. And then the problem is for the spent fuels, 5 reactors are now working, restarting, so the spent fuels are even increasing. We don't know where. We really don't know where. The government said 300 meters down the ground they want to bury, and they had hundreds of the desirable site. They announced, and then they are soliciting each municipals, but none of the municipal came to please bring those waste fuels our place. Spent fuels are so much right now for the Lokasho village also, and those are very dangerous to be there as like earthquake-prone country, and then we are the volcanic island, and we really cannot increase more spent fuel. In Japan, yes, we are totally chaos of things about North Korea, but this is a time that Abe Prime Minister want to use as excuse for the North Korea to change the Japan to the militarism country, and Japan to it's okay to have the nuclear weapons. Japan didn't join for the this UN July 7th or 6th for the ban of the treaty of nuclear weapons. Japan won't sign. Even Japan made a deal with India last June, I think, has nuclear treaty. India is also has nuclear weapons. India is blooming and then suffering and then poisoning country with nuclear power plant there. The Japan want to export nuclear power plant more, and they want to shake the hand with cooperation of the military and then exchanging for the nuclear technique. And so Abe is planning to visit in like a couple of weeks. Japan never changed the policy. Japan is still sticking into the nuclear power and nuclear arms. We condemn this Japanese policy. That's why we are here. And the nuclear power plant and nuclear weapons are totally in the same page. That's the reason Abe never want to give up the nuclear power plant. Need to operate and produce a more plutonium. Thank you. Next is Steve.
Okay, I'll hold it. So thank you, Shizu, and again, today we're looking at the disaster in Florida and Houston, the environmental crisis, and the fact that there are 2 nuclear plants in Florida that could have been flooded and led to pollution of the entire Florida. They're gambling. These owners, the owners of nuclear plants, and the government, U.S. government and Japanese government, they're gambling with the lives of millions of people by not closing down these nuclear plants. There's no place to put the radiation. And in San Onofre in California, they don't want to spend the money to put the canisters, proper canisters, to bury the nuclear waste. Where do they put the nuclear waste? The nuclear waste ends up at the nuclear plants and in the communities that people live around the plants are at. So the Abe government and the U.S. government want to continue nuclear production in Japan. It's a disaster waiting to happen. Japan is called an earthquake zone. It's a fire zone, and there are deadly earthquakes there on a regular basis. And I remember the first time I visited close to Fukushima, a plant that's still operating, and they gave me a picture of their security measures that they have to prepare for the next earthquake. And the picture had, what was that? Onagawa. They had Onagawa plant. And in the picture they said one of the things that we've done to prepare for the next earthquake is we put up handlebars on the control room so people don't get knocked down when there was an earthquake. Can you imagine? In other words, the operator can hold onto the handlebar and that will protect from a nuclear disaster, by handlebars. This is the mentality, the crazy mentality of the government and the nuclear industry. Of course, an earthquake is unexpected, but they know that there are going to be earthquakes because it's an earthquake zone, and yet they say they want to restart the plants. They want to restart the plants even though they know that they're not properly prepared. In California, in San Onofre, there's only one exit, one road to escape, and that would completely be clogged up. And that is the case in Florida as well. If a nuclear plant had been flooded, millions of people would have been contaminated. And as we know, the industry, the nuclear industry, like the chemical industry and the oil industry, don't really care about the contamination. People get cancer. There are cancer clusters around nuclear plants. The radiation, these plants are 40 years old. Well, the plants give off radiation when they have fusion, and people get contaminated. But the government refuses even to have studies of the cancer clusters near these nuclear plants because they don't want to be liable for the health and safety dangers of the nuclear plants and the epidemic of cancer. And there's an epidemic of cancer in Texas, there's an epidemic of cancer in Florida, there's an epidemic of cancer in the Bay Area at refineries. We cannot afford another Fukushima. We cannot afford another disaster of historic proportions. Fukushima is not an accident, it's not a mistake, it's a policy of allowing for the development of nuclear power plants in an earthquake zone. That's what Fukushima is. So they know there's going to be another Fukushima. And we have to stop it. We have to speak out. And I know the Japanese consulate doesn't like it. They have some people here watching us. Maybe they should report back to Abe. The people in the United States don't want any more Fukushimas. Shut down the plant and also allow the families and children not to go back and to be compensated. The government is now saying they've decontaminated Fukushima. But how can you decontaminate the forest that the cesium went up in? How can you decontaminate? They also say they want to release the radioactive water in these tanks, 770,000 tons of radioactive water. Well, we don't want that water going in the Pacific Ocean. If they say they can decontaminate, why not decontaminate that water? Why don't they release the water and process the water? They can't. That's why they keep it in these tanks. We're saying don't release the nuclear reactive water, and we don't want to contaminate the whole Pacific Rim, but that's precisely what the government wants to do. Even the fishermen in Fukushima are opposed to the release of that water, the radioactive water. Why? Because it'll contaminate the area even more. So we have to say, protect the environment, develop alternative energy, solar and other energy, and stop the contamination of the people of Japan and the people of the world, both in the United States and in Japan. And shut the nukes down now. 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 Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Steve. So I have to announce one sudden news. Do you remember Dan Marlin?
Yes, Dan Marlin.
Dan Marlin attended this rally so many times. And I met him first time, even this Japanese consulate moved to current location. We are before that Fremont. Yes, Fremont Street. But amazing that this monthly rally today the 62nd, which is 5 years and 2 months. That we are continuing, but Dan Martin kept his protest for 30 years. He is against nuclear arms, and he had a very problem of the UC Berkeley's policy for the research and developing the nuclear arms. So he went to the twice in campus and then talked with people. Anyway, this Dan Martin passed away August 7th. He was 72 years old. He taught me, continuity is very important. I don't know I can continue 30 years, but Dan has continued his justice, his will to do that. And he joined for this NoNukesAction when we started after Fukushima. He knew that the nuclear arms, nuclear power is not really good for human. And he stand for that point, and he keep on voicing out. And I really miss Dan because he's always standing when I talk. He's there and smiling to me. And he wrote many letters to Prime Minister. And he did often speak out. And he's a unique guy who was born in New York and came to UC Berkeley for studying. Then he's more like to have free time for his art. He did sketching and he made lots of beautiful cars that I have a few of his. And he's also a poet. He created many beautiful poems. And he's also the great activist. His wife, Toshiko-san, is planning to have his, it's not the actual, like a memorial, it's more like a celebration of his life. On October 22nd, Sunday, in Berkeley, I will give you more detail when I have, but please keep that date for attend this beautiful celebration. And I like to, because maybe all the people here know Dan Martin, so let's have minutes of silence for him and his wife Toshiko-san. Thank you. And thank you, Dan Martin. We never forget you. Thank you. So, all right, we every month write new letter to Prime Minister. This time, Narumi Tomida, who lives in Kyoto, but she's visiting US now. Actually, she's a great student studying English. Also, she is a vivid activist in Kyoto. She wrote a letter. Unfortunately, she's in Chicago now. So, Yoko Clark will read her letter. Thank you.
Hi everyone, nice seeing you all again. The 62nd meeting, as Chizu-san says. So I'll be reading this letter that was written by Naruse Tomita, who just finished her ESL course in San Francisco. So let me just read what she said. I had a little bit of editing done, just very slight. So she says, Dear Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, September 11th, 2017. I'm writing this letter in San Francisco. Yesterday, I finished my course of learning English as a second language here. In my school, many foreign students knew your name as the Japanese Prime Minister, even though when I didn't know the names of their prime ministers or presidents. Your political remarks and deeds attract public attention in the world. Therefore, I'd like to request that your actions will reflect good reputations of the Japanese people in the world. Number one, about nuclear threat from the North Korea. Please do your best to avoid any military collisions by not using any arms or political or economic threat. We can never build peace by arms. In order to let North Korea stop their nuclear weapons and missiles programs, I believe we, that means Japan, the US, Korea, etc., should abandon our own arms first. Then we should maintain the attitude of open-mindedness and welcome North Korea as a friend nation. Please make every effort to resolve this dangerous situation peacefully. Don't think of using this threat as a chance for you to send Japanese self-defense forces to a foreign battlefield. Number two, about the nuclear weapons. About the nuclear weapons ban treaty that was adopted in the UN on July 7th this year, please change Japan's attitude from opposition to approval of this treaty and make an effort to persuade the nuclear weapon states to join Japan. Japan is the only country that has suffered from nuclear weapons in the war in the human history. We Japanese, especially Hibakusha, know the horror of an A-bomb most clearly in the world. So if Japan declares that nuclear weapons destroy humanity itself, and that absolutely no one should keep them, will bear great power to promote reduction and abolition of nukes from the world. Hibakusha and the world yearn that Japan should take such decision. Please accept our voice to seek nuke-free world and carry out what the world seeks from Japan. Number three, about the generating of nuclear power, please immediately cancel to restart all suspended nuclear reactors and never to operate any in the future. Please do your best to let Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant problem settle safely. Fukushima disaster has not settled or finished yet. Please change Japan's energy policy from nuclear power generation to focusing on sustainable and natural energy. And please take into deep consideration of the welfare of children, young mothers, elderly people in Fukushima and their health and living situations. The number of Fukushima children who get thyroid cancer is increasing year by year. Japan should make it a national priority to give the children enough medical care and periodic health checks. Number 4, about Article 9. Please maintain this national and world treasure as it is. Absolutely never let any members of Japanese self-defense forces use any arms or kill anyone in any foreign land. Japan has not killed any foreign people in any battlefield in the name of Japan for the last 72 years since the Asia-Pacific War ended. Please keep this amazing tradition of Japan as a peaceful country. That Japan takes arms means a big threat against world peace. Japan should take another way that keeps and creates peace without any arms. I know many young Japanese studying and working here in San Francisco and other places in the US and the world. They are creating strong ties called friendship with foreign people through their daily lives. I firmly believe that these ties are indeed stronger and more useful than any other arms or weapons to protect Japan, because no one wants to attack one's friends. Their ties and friendship will definitely be a power in the world that Japan tries to avoid conflicts and seeks a way to coexist with those who have different thoughts and cultures. This is a way for Japan to live in the world, Prime Minister. Please prepare and arrange policy decisions on the environment in Japan so that the young Japanese can play an active role in each of their chosen fields in the world. The foregoing requests and wishes I wrote with utmost sincerity from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for your reading. I thank you again for your sincere efforts for Japan and the Japanese people, and hope you will take faithful actions to create more peaceful Japan and the world. In San Francisco, Narumi Tomida.
Thank you, Yoko-san, and thank you so much, Narumi-san. It is a wonderful letter. And Narumi said that one person's power is very weak. But if many people get together, we can change the policy of government. She is young and hopeful. I like many young people in Japan, aware of the condition of the today's Japan's situation, and they stand up and then voice out and then get together and change the policy. Shut down all the nukes! 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 Fukushima never again! Fukushima never again! Fukushima never again! Fukushima never again! Hiroshima never again! Hiroshima never again! Hiroshima never again! Nagasaki never again! Nagasaki never again! Fukushima never again! Fukushima never again! Fukushima never again! Shut down all the nukes! Shut down all the nukes! Shut down all the nukes! Shut October 11th.
October 11th.
Here, front of the San Francisco Japanese consulate. So see you again and thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Arigato. Arigato.
Arigato.